Welcome to the Everfans show. My name's Alex, and I'm the host and moderator. What does that mean? I have the fun job to pick your questions and tell them to our guests. For those of you who are here for the first time, we are producing a short film adaptation of Shadow of the Conqueror. So this is our third show for the new one coming in. We use this platform to share, discuss some behind the scenes, give you some exclusive look, all these pre-production stuff, and mostly introduce you to special guests. So on our first show, we received Chad, who's the author of Shadow of the Conqueror. On that show, we discussed how the short film came to be, but we also announced that Chad would be flying into Canada to be part of the short film. On our second live, we received the lead actor will be playing Dylan Namarand.
I am the Conqueror!
So we had a blast on this live. We got to see some past works from Dylan, but also discussed some preparation, how he's going to prepare for the role. Is he going to do his own stunts? So if you have missed those, make sure to subscribe to our channel. They're all available to you to rerun. And then next week, we're also going to have one. We're not ready to announce the guest yet, so you'll have the surprise this week. But today, I have the honor to receive our local stunt coordinator, Rodney Alexander, joined to Volchek and Yaroslav from the Adorea Swordfighting teams. For those of you who might not know them, they're historical European martial arts experts from Czech Republic. And they will be acting as consultants on the set of the short film. So they'll be flying as well in Canada to assist Rodney. So I'll start right away. So how's everyone doing?
Yeah, great. How are you doing?
We're good too.
Having a great time.
So I see that you seem to be in your garage. Is that it?
Actually, we are in my wood shop, workshop, where I, among other things, I'm repairing most of the equipment for the Adorea team.
Okay. So if everyone just give me a second. So I'll let you know what had been happening this whole time. I had the live open. So I've been hearing me in the background like in a loop as I'm talking. So it's been really again, that's the second time that happens. I gave this advice to Adorea just early on to make sure that they didn't do that. And I did it, and I couldn't find the page, so I've just been hearing this.
Dylan is doing the sound effects.
Yeah,
yes. He has a lot of multi-role today, our producer. Okay, so I'll start right away with Rodney. So if you could tell us just a little bit about yourself and your team in Montreal.
Well, for those who don't know me, my name is Rodney Alexander. I started in stunts maybe 15, 16 years ago. It's a passion for me, like getting on a set and creating something that does not exist, or building a fight, or building an action sequence, and making it come to life. That's a passion that I've had since I was 5 years old. Like I would grab whatever cams I could, or just a curtain, and make a cape out of it and then start playing with it. So I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of people that had the same passion in Montreal. One man, which is Jean Fournette, is a 5 times world champion in karate. He actually found me and trained me to become a stunt performer, a stunt coordinator. And from his surroundings, he gathered a lot of people that had the same thoughts when it comes to like creating and like evolving into the movie industry. And then that's how he created the team, which is called OSS, which is a on-set stunts action team. So I'm part of that team that he created a long time ago. And but right now it's kind of difficult for every one of us to train together because we're all over the place working everywhere. Like we're all over Canada working. So Yeah, the team that I'm working on right now is the second generation of that OSS action team, and all great athletes, all people that are very passionate and ready to break it in front of the screen.
Yeah, I also know Jean Frenette. I've met him on a few occasions. He really is a pioneer of stunts here in Montreal.
Yeah, and all over Canada now. And actually, he's starting to work overseas, but that's another subject.
So actually, for those of you at home, we want to start right away with an exclusive clip. So we have the first concept fight. How is that a mistake?
No, sorry, that's my mistake. So here's the clip.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So Rodney, can you tell us a bit about what went into that fight scene?
Well, the first thing that went into that fight scene is having a couple of guys that I know that have been self-isolating for a while, so that when we go and do that fight choreography, everything is safe and everything is done properly. Then we have, it was very intricate to do that fight scene because I did not know the universe of Shadow of the Conqueror at that time. I only knew some bits and pieces before I did some more research, but I wanted to establish what kind of action we're going to have. So I wanted something that's going to be very dynamic, something that's going to be very, not hardcore, but that's not going to leave place for like stupid mistakes, if I can say. Whereas like we have somebody standing by doing nothing, and there's always like this guy in the back, like playing with his watch and waiting to go and beat up the other guy. So I wanted to create something that was going to be fast-paced action and that was going to be able to draw the audience in the fight instead of just being spectating the fight.
Okay. So I wonder, how did the pandemic affect just building this fight in particular?
Well, the pandemic affected this because just to be able to find a place to train, because we were not able to be like more than well, actually we're not supposed to be gathered together, but what we did is we called each other up and then we were like, okay, so for the next 14 to 16 days, y'all don't go to groceries, do your groceries now, do everything you need to do now, and then as soon as you are done, boom, you stay home. So that's what we did, and then until we were able to like meet up and knowing that we were safe and everything, and then we started building the fight. There's a lot of equipment, like it is a fight that includes magic, so our guy Dylan is very strong. So he throws guys away to flying and stuff like that. So I had to be able to simulate all that without using any rigging and without having like multiple people like on wires and stuff like that. So that was one of the challenges, to build a concept and knowing that you need special effects, effects on the day like rigging and stuff like that, and not being able to have them because of COVID. But so it was just about it was just a question of finding ways to make it look like it was, or to express the feeling of what we wanted to do. Whereas on the day we'll be able to have all that equipment, since we'll be able to get on set and use riggers, use wires, use jerk vests, and make people fly. So it was a lot of cutting in those shots because I had to fake all that. But once we have the wires and everything, there's going to be a lot less cuts in the editing.
Yeah, and so that's something that I've seen a few people ask in the comments of our live streams and on Kickstarter. People really want us to avoid the shaky cam and the cuts that are too abrupt, and keep it more easy to see and to follow the action. We really want to see what's happening during the fight.
Yeah.
The chaotic cinema, basically. We'll try to avoid that.
Jason Bourne style.
Yes, exactly. Just to remind everybody, so these the clip that we've shown is to give you like a little taste. These are very much like a concept fight in terms of the cutting, because a lot of people are asking like, oh, a little bit of last cut and faces on the stunts rather than cinematography. So these are really concept fights, because as Rennie said, right now we're all in a pandemic, so we're all working to a distance. So we're sharing videos just to share, start practicing, but these are not the final product.
And we got to keep in mind that these videos are reference videos, so it's not to forget the choreography. That's not the video we're going to be shooting on the day. The shot list has not been made. Nothing has been shot in a manner that, oh, this is the final product. This is basically just reference.
But we have a few good comments too. So I like single take easy to watch fight. This looks awesome. The stunts do look pretty good. So that next to Velius Sullivan, it says that. And then Thunderwolf that said it looks good to me. So and somebody
thank you.
Star Wars. So we're gonna get to you, Adorea. So if you could tell us what got you into sword fighting.
Well, you should start. Okay. You should start with sword fighting. At first was the fantasy book from the Andrzej Sapkowski, Tolkien, and Howard, Larp, and also I meet a very, very good guy in Olomouc. And two in the Czechoslovakia was, and in the Slovakian and Czech are very famous masters for the stage combat system and also for EMA. But most of the guys in the Adorea team, they started very, very young, like passionate about sword fighting, playing with sticks, and by reading books, mainly the Witcher series, the Witcher books from Sapkowski or Tolkien or from fantasy. That's what got us to the sword fighting mainly.
And when did your team start? So how did Adorea started basically?
Okay. In October 1998, the guys from one school create the group Adorea. Around 2000, make the first performance, the first living show, and from 2006 are practically finished. This team. From the year 2006, there is a stable core team of the Adorea Swordfighting team that stays there till nowadays.
And you've been doing HEMA shows throughout Europe for all those years. So really, you have a lot of experience performing live with live audiences, from what I understand.
Okay, yes, we make the live show to the all Europe, in the France, in German, in Italy, in Austrian, in Slovenian, Slovakian, Poland, the all Central Europe, and particularly two in Spain. And a lot of the events are here in Czech Republic, where we come from, and it's always interesting to work in front of a live audience.
Have you ever visited Canada? Ever came to Canada?
No.
No?
No. That's too far away.
Well, you might have the chance to visit Canada soon.
It was really like
that would be fun.
And you have your video, your long sword fight video that's on YouTube. That's very popular, that we've shown a few times already on this live show.
That's not him. That's him. Yes, I'm that guy.
Yeah,
You're that guy in the video?
in most of the short movies that are on other YouTube channels, you can notice that Yada is the bad guy in most of these.
The professional.
Do you have any comments that you want to tell us about that fight? What went into it? How long did you work on that fight?
Oh, the training and create of the choreography. It was 3 months.
3 months.
On the start, 1 training per week, but on the finish, we have 4 training with the cameraman, very famous guy, Petla is his name. We found the road and check it the safety angle and.
Yeah, because for these fight scenes to look really realistic and believable, it's one of the really important things that the cameraman knows the fight and can find a way how to shoot it correctly. The camera work can ruin the fight scene or make it even better.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, on the place we shoot this movie 2 days, every day, 6 hours.
2 days of 6 hours to shoot,
2
to
days.
shoot that
Oh,
film?
wow.
20 hours in 2 days, 6 hours per 1 day.
So we have somebody that's asking, so Charn Oko, he says, say something in Czech.
Ahoj Česká republiko.
Nazdar kucielku.
So what does that mean? Just for us.
I will greeting people from our country.
Awesome. So we can find this video on your channel. So when did you started your channel?
The YouTube channel was started 50 June 2007. At first, we found the medium for the presentation.
To be able to share our work with other people, and then somehow people found it interesting and started liking it.
Well, the fight scenes are so good looking on your channel. There's no doubt why people like looking at them.
We really like people commenting on those and saying kind words about the work.
So that's interesting. So you just started posting them, and then people just started talking about it and really getting into it. So
Yeah.
you saw that there is an interest for it.
Yeah, I think the most popular video is the one you are showing right now. It's like got spreads really fast and really wide.
Do you have another
Okay.
one that you're more happy about, that you like the choreography more?
Well, my personal favorite is the Night of Hope that is there on the YouTube channel as well.
It's question.
Sorry, which one do you like more? This one or the Night of Hope?
It's question. There is lots of good movie and the Night of Hope. In this duel is lots of fails.
Don't tell them.
So hopefully that will be dethroned by the sword fights in Shadow of the Conqueror. We have a few good comments. I just want to take the time to read them. We have Thunderworld that says, is good. Michael H., you're on good hands. I know a lot of reenactment in Czech and Slovakia, and they love to be historically accurate. So based on his personal experience. Somebody even said that Yaroslav looks like The Witcher as well. Right?
He gets that a lot.
There's a bit of a debate. Some are saying that you should have longer hair. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I have my cat.
For The Witcher, he would have to shave.
Well, depends. In Witcher 3, Geralt has a beard.
True, but still, he's a little bit fatter than Geralt.
FN Headford says it's truly a masterpiece, absolutely beautiful about the video you just saw. Challenge. Danny C. Picard said talents get noticed. And Tom the Wolf got excited about the Night of Hope. So.
Yeah, we're showing the Night of Hope right now on your screen just to give you a little taste of it. It looks to be quite a nice production.
The shooting itself, it was like 4 days or 5 days.
The finale 5 days, and the preparing for of this movie was half year.
Half a year.
Creating of the choreography and shooting.
I think I saw you just there. Yaroslav.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bad guy again.
But that's great because you guys have good acting skills on top of it.
Thank you.
Well, the Knight is the best actor in the short movie.
So Andreas Knoll is asking. And I think Andreas is also Schmunzel on YouTube. They're both asking, how often did you redo each scene? Was there a very problematic one? Sorry.
Yeah, there are scenes that are more difficult than others, but the one that was repeated most time, kolikrát se mi opakovala ty scény na stráčované česká.
Tady z toho? Oh, I don't know now.
I think it was about 12 to 15 repeats of the most difficult scene. 12 to 15, I think.
15 max. I think around the 15. Ale která to byla, to fakt nevím.
But it's sequenced in smaller scenes. Like the choreography of the fight is done, the whole fight at once, but some of the scenes were shot from different angles, and like the most difficult one we were shooting for about it.
And also Martin is je strašný to dá.
Martin is the duelist that Yarda is fighting in the first video. He is the fight choreographer and the sword master of the Adorea team, and he's very, punctual, and really he nitpicks every single thing. So
everything must be correct.
Everything must be perfect.
A bit like Shad does in his videos.
Yes.
Nice. We're gonna get along.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very heavy working with this man.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you. So you knew about Chad's channel before joining in the short film production, right?
We are watching some YouTube channels that are focused on sword fighting or fantasy, like the other ones we know are Scalagrim, Metatron, the Shadowversity, of course, and others like that. We know, but we didn't know that he wrote a book, and we were starting to be really interested when we got to know the fantasy behind it and the world that it sets in.
So like you mentioned, so in the book, there's a lot of fantasy, and we can expect some brutal sword fight scenes. Rodney, when you you already choreographed, as we saw, some first parts of a couple of fight scenes that we're gonna have.
Yes.
You mentioned that you had to incorporate, factor in the magic parts, or Dalen is basically has some powers, so that influence the fight scenes. Adorea, did you ever had to choreograph sword fights and keeping in mind the magic components?
Well, there exactly wasn't really like spells involved in the fight. At least I don't remember. Maybe Arda does. He's older than me. But there was a lot of projects that there was like magic involved in behind the scenes, like the atmosphere or the reason.
Or the movement of the amulet, or the something in the Witcher. Push the energy to the enemy.
Yeah.
Yes, but not the lighting wall and fire.
No fireballs in our.
Usually, are our fights more realistic.
Okay.
Yeah, and in Shadow of the Conqueror, well, the main character, Dalen, his power mainly is to boost his own physical abilities and make himself stronger, faster, have better and faster reflexes, just so he can fight better. So he's like a bit more like a superhuman than a mage throwing out fireballs or some things like that. It allows him to be to face multiple enemies without being severely disadvantaged.
Yeah, that's most of the project that the guys mainly do, or even they do on the live shows, is that there is one guy fighting against multiple enemies, similar to the Night of Hope. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I find interesting with Dylan in Shadow of the Conqueror is the fact that he has this ability to regenerate himself. So basically, if he gets injured, or if he gets surrounded by a lot of people, his focused thought is less on I have to defend myself, because he knows he can regenerate. So when I started building the fight, I put not only the characters' way of thinking and everything that involves the character influences the fight. So if the character is impatient, he won't be patient while fighting. He's going to be impatient while fighting. So if the character is cocky, he's going to be cocky in his fighting. He knows that he's strong. He knows that like almost nothing can hurt him. So when he gets into a fight, his first thought process is, okay, let me get rid of these people. He's not being aware. And as the fight is going to build up, we're going to see a character that becomes human. So now he's wary. Now he needs to be careful because he knows he's in danger. So his fighting style will change eventually. I'm all about realistic fights, and I really love what Adorea does. And that's why when they told me that we would have them on the project, I was really happy, because I like it when it's realistic. I like it when it's real. And that's what I think our cooperation is going to be nice, is that I will bring that part where we're developing the character and we're having kind of a crescendo where he's superhuman and then slowly becoming human, and Adorea will be able to help us with everything that's realistic about the sword fighting, the rapiers and everything. So I think it's going to be a very good and complex cooperation, which is going to bring our characters alive and make them be not only in a fantasy world, but we'll be able to, how can I say that, relate to them. We'll be able to relate to the fact that they become human, and then, oh my God, how am I going to survive this? And that's where both our expertise is going to come out in that fight, or in the fights, in the action scenes in Shadow of the Conqueror.
Well, we are really looking forward to that, because like one of the most challenges during building the sword fight is to make it believable. Then
yes, it is mine. It's not important what is it, the weapon, maybe the package.
Maybe even a slipper or fight with the slipper. But it needs to be believable. That people watching it must like really believe that it's gonna be done. It's possible.
Exactly.
We have a question on this stream, H Superly, that's asking, now the real question is, how big will the sword be, and are they going to plan for that? So in your fight scenes, how do you plan ahead of that?
If we're going to plan for the sword?
Yes, who's asking how big the sword will be. So this is more, I guess, for Dylan, who visited Kalimessa. So
it's going to be a bit smaller than what's in the book. Well, in the book, actually, the length is not said, but from the design that Shad provided to us, it's gonna be like 5 centimeters shorter. It's not a big difference, but it's just that having it longer would add some challenges, and it's still gonna be a very big sword for a one-handed broadsword. So yeah, it's still gonna be quite long. It's about the same length as a bastard sword, but that's only gonna be used with one hand.
Interesting. So does that influence in any way like how you choreograph the fights? Like the sword's really or not?
One of the most important things to know the weapon the character is using. We are patiently waiting for the pictures of the sword to know what we will be dealing with.
So for those of you at home, the sword will be manufactured by Kelmisil, which is actually the biggest LARPing sword manufacturer in the world.
Yeah, and if you're interested in their products, there's a link in the description to their website if you want to check them out.
And we have a really good partnership with them. So anybody who will back the project, so the short film, for $750 and more, will get their own Kelmisil sword.
And I can maybe show you guys the image that Shad provided me for the sword. We don't have the Kelmisil concepts yet. They're working on it actively, but we have what Shad provided us. Okay, this one. Let me just open it here.
So just in the meantime that we get the concept, somebody's asking, so well, I guess at the time we were speaking about injuries, so Schmanzel is asking, how many stuntmen do we plan to use?
We're planning to use a minimum of 7 stuntmen, 5 for the bad guys, and we're gonna have a stun double for Jenna and a stun double for the Shadow of the Conqueror on standby, because obviously there are stunts that we want to try and avoid them doing, so that they don't get injured, or if they're not physically ready, or if they don't have enough experience to do those stunts, it's not worth it to put them in danger for no reason.
So
like,
when
stunts is.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say, when he was on our show, so Dawson, who played the lead actor, showed big interest into learning some of his own stunts. So we're actually looking into it to see what kind of practice he can get while he's in Minnesota.
Yes, and that is fairly feasible, because a lot of the stunts will be physical fighting, which is something that is going to be able to be taught to him easily. Well, easily. I mean, like, with time and practice. But everything that has to do with ratchets and being thrown in the wall and stuff like that, or even just running and tackling someone and then doing a roll with the person, like a 2-person roll, stuff like that, we want to try and avoid. If he can do it, like if he nails it on the day, perfect. But like I said, I would have 2 stun doubles on standby in case we need to use them instead of the actors. But we're trying to aim on every project that I try to aim to train my actors to be able to do their own stunts. Like this, there's less cutaways. We don't need to okay, let's go in reverse and then switch with the stun double. We can do everything in one shot. I like it when it's simple and straightforward. If we can't, then we'll have the option to have the stun doubles in.
Yeah, and I just wanted to roll back to the sword since I have it ready here. So here's the design that was provided by Shad. So you can see Vorchek and Yoslav a bit what we're gonna be working with. It's a basket-hilted broadsword with a fairly long blade.
Nice. Really cool design.
And it's supposed to be the prop obviously is not going to be like that, but it's supposed to be 1 millimeter thick at its thickest.
Yeah.
So it's
And
very
it's,
very thin.
In the story, it's like materializes from the light in his hand. Like
Yeah,
right
exactly.
away.
Yes.
So it's really a magic sword that's unbreakable and all of that. So
Cool weapon.
yeah.
Definitely.
We also have another clip of Rodney that we didn't show.
Yeah, just before that, so somebody was asking the question, so what's the difference between a Larp sword and a blunt sword?
Okay, well, I'll take this one. A blunt sword is a sword made out of metal that doesn't have an edge. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what a blunt sword is. You also have rubber swords, which are normally the stunt versions that are used on set. The stunts normally you have a soft rubber and a hard rubber version of the sword to be used on set, depending on the stunt that's being that's currently being filmed. And a Larp sword is a sword that's made out of foam. That's really made to have safe, fun fights with, let's say, your friends.
Avoid cutting any limb, basically.
So yeah, it's really made out of foam. And normally it's at least 1.5 centimeters thick, so it's really thick too. But since it's in an action scene, Larp swords can be used as a stunt version of the swords. And Calamisil is going to make some modifications for the version of the sword that we are going to use on set. And the sword that we're going to use on set is also going to be enhanced by visual effects. Because, like I just said, the sword is supposed to be 1 millimeter thick. So having a sword
without
it would just bend if it was out of metal. And we also looked at making the sword out of metal with Todd's workshop, and he said that if we make it out of metal, it's just going to be so heavy that the strongest person in the room is going to have difficulty holding it up. So it was just not an option to make it out of metal. Even in aluminium, it would be too heavy.
Or we could get like a real life Conqueror.
Yeah, or we could get yep. I'm sure the mountain would have no problems holding it up, but
So, like you mentioned, so we have Bam that just joined, we have Robert that joined as well. So I think right now is a really good time to share that second clip that we have from Rodney. So just to give a little context, these are concept fights. So these are just first designs of the fights that Rodney filmed to really start building it up while we're ahead of time. Few people on the chat right now are really worried about if the sword's in metal. That could really hurt people. So we'll have the two versions. We'll make sure to avoid that. So how long did that take, just choreographing and filming this part?
That was probably 5-6 hours. Because when I get into the rehearsal place, I already have a concept in my head. So before I even go to training, I already write down like some of my ideas of the things that I want to do. And once I get there, I already establish a perimeter. I establish what I want, what kind of action I want, who's going to be where, how to eliminate people one at a time, but still keep the action from going constantly. So 5-6 hours is just, getting to warm up, then doing some sword techniques, because we have different kind of sword fighting stuff, whether it's like ninja or samurai and stuff like that, because of some movies we've done before. I had like martial arts and trainings, and then we try and lose those techniques, and like those goons are not professional like fighters or stuff like that. They have swords to fight basically, and then at that point the Conqueror received that bullet and he lost his power, so he cannot materialize his sword. That's why he had to steal a sword from one of the guys, and he has to try and defend himself, and he's quite struggling while being injured. And then obviously there are still positions where like this, he got kicked, he's falling to the ground, but on the day the kick might be a lot harder, it's going to fly to a table. So we're conceptualizing where the action is going to take place in the environment, and then slowly we're going to build it up and incorporate, whether it's ratchets with jerk vests and flying in the air, people falling on tables, people like just getting knocked out. I always have a solution to get somebody out. It's never, oh, I'm waiting for you. So like those two guys that just stood up, if we see the clip before that, they got this guy thrown into them. So then they have to stand up. By the time they stand up, he just killed off that first one. So it's always, I always have to justify why we're doing things while doing it. So when I get into rehearsal, I already thought about a concept, and then I start building it up. It takes 5-6 hours, then we film it for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And like you could see, that was a oneer with my cell phone, just as a reference to know what we were going to do on the day.
So, what are the main challenges? So, and I'm sending the question to both Adorea and Rodney. So, what are main challenges that you face when you build a fight choreography or an action sequence?
Go ahead.
I'll probably start. we said it before. Mainly it's the believability for the fight to be believable. Like that people can see it and say that the actors or the characters that they do it for real, they are not just acting it. And then the camera work, of course. Like find out the angles, find out the way for the camera to work to do.
A big difference is then we make the work for the cinema work, not our, but for the movie. It depends on the
concept, on the
concept from director. But if we make own work, we won't make something. What is it? New and origin. Also.
On my part, like they said, the credibility of the fight. For me, the credibility of the fight is always very important. And
credibility, that's the right word.
Like you guys said, and that's why I like what you guys do, because there's a lot of credibility in your fights, and I like it, whether it's like how you get hit or even just the acting, little beats and pieces that are very important. The DOP or the camera guy is definitely very important. Like they said, a camera guy can either make a fight look awesome or completely break it. So you can have the best choreography in the world, the best fight in the world. If it's badly filmed, it's the worst fight in the world. That's just how it is. A very big challenge for me as well is physical limitations. because we're still human, right? So when we're building a fight, am I going to be able to have all the equipment to do whatever I need to do? Like the guy needs to fly and then in midair needs to kick the guy, do a backflip, and then land on the neck of the guy behind him. So, okay, how do I do that? So physical limitations is one thing. And then sometimes people come in, like I've had actors coming on set, and the day we're shooting, I'm supposed to show them like those 3-4 hits they're doing, and then they're supposed to fall on the ground, and they're like, oh, well, I had a bad knee. I have a bad knee. I just got surgery like 6 months ago. Oh, so you can't fall on your knees. Okay, then we have to switch it. So physical limitations is very important. Another thing that's very important is budget. So we can build a big fight, but if production does not have the money to be able to create the environment for that fight, then you have to change everything. So that's why I like to build everything very simple, like you saw in the videos, and then build up as I see, okay, so we have this, we have that, and then incorporate it in it whenever budget could be a problem. And yeah, that's probably it.
So we have, yep.
Can I take a moment to just thank our backers? So
yeah, go ahead.
We have had Roy Allen, Bernhard Fay, James, Tyler Vasquez, who have all donated recently. So thank you to all of you. I'm going to take this moment at the same time to remember you to go and back our project on Kickstarter. The more we have, the more we can make the fight awesome, the more we're going to be able to work with Adorea here in Montreal. So the more you help us build this project, the more that the fight is going to be awesome. Well, like you see, I think it's very clear that the fight is going to be awesome no matter what. We have a very, very good team here working with us on the project to make sure this happens.
I just saw his comment in the YouTube that physical limits are nothing for Adorea. I just thank to the guy that wrote it, but I need to let him know that the physical limits are there. There are things.
How did this guy?
And I want to remind everybody. So at 250,000, our goal was to, get the whole Adorea team to fly in and join us on the set. We've established a new goal, which is at 100,000. We want to make sure that we get at least 2 of Adorea's team to join us and fly in to Canada. So will it be you, Wojciech, that's coming, or Jaroslav?
That will be definitely Martin.
Okay.
The other duelist, and the second the person is not yet decided.
Okay.
Have to be decided.
And the goal is to have you here for at least a minimum of 2 weeks. So a week during the training with Rodney, and then the second week on the sets. So how do you foresee like the collaboration then when you visit in Canada? How will that work?
Well, I don't think I am really able to answer this question, because that would be for Martin, the main sword master in the Adorea team. It's probably on him, and I hope we can get his answer in some other stream or in some other post.
Yeah, for sure. We can probably do another live stream or another video with Martin in the future, because we're gonna keep doing these live streams throughout the production until the premiere, basically. So when the film premieres, that's when we're gonna stop doing these shows, but we're gonna do these shows throughout the year until the short film premieres.
So that was a question on the live. So with the pandemic going on, so we're still even looking to exactly when we will be filming, and when that happened, then that will we'll be able to plan a premiere there then. For now, our first goal was to film in September and to have everybody end of September, October. and to premiere the movie on Chad's channel next May 2021, but that could change depending on borders law and how the pandemic
restrictions. Just ask the government, can you fly a plane towards Canada? That's it's difficult to get an answer now.
Yeah, we really hope that it will be better soon and that it will. Okay.
We have a
question. That's all what we hope.
Yeah. We have a question or a comment in Czech Republic from Michael H. I don't know if you see it on your side, Wojciech. Maybe you could translate it for me. If it's
because Matej Jedlička is one of the students of Jarda.
Oh.
We can say hi to him.
Yeah.
And he says that he's when learning from Jarda and on the trainings that he's pushing his limits, pushing his borders. That's what he basically says in his comment.
Cool.
Well, I think that's always the job of the teacher to push the limits of his student.
To break them.
Yeah. That's like even the important thing for the whole Adorea team, because all of the Adorea team are students of old master from Slovakia. His name is Petr Koza. We would like to pay him a tribute, because like we are continuing his work. He started like the sword fighting in Middle Europe, and now we are continuing with that.
Petr Koza is one from the few most important men in the Czechoslovakian for Czech and Slovakian fencing. Actually old and famous and grandiose man.
So he was the teacher that was always pushing our limits, and
incredible.
Now we can go on with this tradition.
That's why you're so good right now, and you're here with us working on this project.
I'm gonna go to the chat because we have a couple minutes left. We have Robert Caver, who says at the beginning he thought the number of extra goals would be all met. However, with the pace that the Kickstarter is going in now, he's not sure. So I want to take the time to say, going into it, and how 2020 is going right now, just the overall. We knew that some goal might not be met, but that's why we're planning ahead. So getting Adorea here, working locally with Rodney. We will deliver on a really entertaining and fantastic short film. Just with the base budget, that was $65,000, and now we're at $85,000, and that's incredible. We're shooting for at least $100,000 to make sure to reinvest in those fight scenes, those visual effects, and make sure that we have Adorea that join us. The best way possible to do that is to subscribe to our channel, share. If you've already donated, just talk about the project, share the Kickstarter. We're on Facebook, share our post. If you haven't donated yet, take a look at the Kickstarter. Even $1 can help us. And $1 will also give you access to exclusive clips. So you're not, like, as soon as you donate, you get to be part of the experience. So keep going. We have a strong fan base. The Everfans community is there. So we just need to keep talking about the project, keep sharing.
Yeah, I've seen one comment asking me to mention the Discord channel. So if someone can put it on the chat, there is the Discord channel that was created for the Everfans. So if you want to go and discuss about Shadow of the Conqueror, that's a great place to go. And I'm on there once every few days. So if you want to discuss directly with me, I will be available there.
So I know we mentioned it earlier, but we have Kenan that's asking how much time does a fight take to design? So for example, if we just take...
Well, it can...
Okay, the long sword fight.
Yeah, not really the long sword fight. Like this kind of mass fight. Can take up to a few months of preparation, like during the trainings, like during the regular trainings.
It depends on the rozsahu.
On the scale of the fight.
Scale up of the fight or the works. Okay, if will be the experienced people, they create the choreography and make the base presentation. Not so much, a few days, but the preparing with the actors it needs time. And okay, 1, 2, 3 more is possible.
It's possible to learn like the basic of sword fighting and then starting learning the choreography.
These people will be possible make the basic advantage techniques and in the full fast and safety. But it depends on the skills of the actors.
Yeah, and that's one thing we've discussed recently that we are going to discuss with Dawson so that he can train with experts locally in Minnesota, just so that he's ready for the fight scenes when he's coming here. He's just going to have to learn the choreography and not learn the basics.
Yeah. So on my point of view, what the Adorea guys said is exactly the same that I think. It all depends. You can have a fight choreography or movies that are taking like months to prepare. Like we did a movie called Immortals where I was like a special skills extra on that movie, and like the guys trained for 6 to 8 months before. The actor trained for 6 to 8 months plus trained before. So depends. And we have other movies where we're on set, like we're literally on set and we're shooting, and the director is like, oh, there's something missing. Why don't you guys fight a bit? So then we have to create a fight right there on the spot, and we have to make it look good. So it all depends on who's there, the experience, and how they can make it look good very quick. And people that have been working together for a long time are able to pull that off. So the Adorea guys, if you ask them to make a fight like this, if it's only them and they don't have to train an actor, I'm sure they're going to be able to do it very quick. Same thing with stunt guys that are professionals. If you put them in a situation where they have to build a real fight, a fight that's going to look real very quick, it's not going to take time. Whereas if we need to train actors, well, like they said, it could take up to like 6 months, 3 months, a year. It doesn't, like, we don't know. It depends on the production scale and the size or the scale of the fight itself.
So talking about being an actor in a stuntman in the stunt fights that you choreograph, Arcals is asking if Adorea will join us only to consult and train the actors, or will they also be joining as a stuntman in the team?
Well, we would really love to. Like, mainly we would we would love to get to Canada and we get to know you guys and start working with you personally. That would be best for us. So we really hope that the Kickstarter goes well, and that we will be able to pull it off. I think there was a goal at your Kickstarter that from the specific goal, the Adorea team will go there like in a full number of people and do the actual fight with the actors. But it's also like with the skilled stunt guys like Rodney and his team, it's enough for us to contribute with like 2 people going there and being part of the consultation and with the even on the shooting on the set.
Yeah, we would have loved to have all the team of Adorea to come here and to be in the fight scene in the movie, but well, like it was mentioned, right now at the pace the Kickstarter is going, we don't think that we're gonna hit the $250,000 goal, but we're still probably gonna hit the $100,000 goal to make at least Martin and one of his assistants come here and help us in the fight scene. And we're gonna have to figure out if they're in the fight scene itself or not. We're gonna see.
Well, from what I've seen on their videos, well, this is my personal opinion, but the first video that I saw, the longsword fight, I was like, oh, are those guys stun guys? Because you guys were skilled and everything. So if ever you guys can be part of it, I ain't got no problem with it at all, because you guys are great. You guys make things look good. You have good acting skills. You have good sword fighting skills. When you're falling, it's credible. Like, there's credibility behind your actions. So why not? So if we can make it happen, let's make it happen. If not, you're always welcome to come whenever.
We'll love to make it happen. Well, most of the Adorea team guys, they were part of stunt teams in a lot of movie factions here in Europe, like the ones we mentioned, like the Three Musketeers and others, or other productions like the Letter for the King. I think it was Netflix.
Yes, it was Netflix.
Adaptation. So
Nice.
they have experience in that. And
in the Netflix, Martin was Swordmaster, and we will.
You are doing the stunts for it.
Yes, and then preparing the actors to the fight.
So we will really love to get at least Martin, the main sword fighter from the Adorea team there. Be there with you.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be great. You guys are more than welcome. And I think I have a lot to learn from you guys as well, so that'd be cool.
We are really looking forward to meet with you.
We're really looking forward to have you as well, and thank you for joining us today. I think everybody on the chat is very grateful that you could be here. Thank you to Rodney as well. We can't wait to see more clips in the coming weeks. So I want to thank everybody also that joined us today. Anybody who's rewatching as well. So I know it's hard sometimes to find like the perfect time zone to get as much people, because it's very late in Czech Republic, whereas it's very it's in the middle of the afternoon for us.
In Australia it's the middle of the night. So
but please subscribe to our video if you have any questions, or you want to reach out to us. We're always available on Facebook, on YouTube as well, and we Dylan, you mentioned also we have a new chat. Discord as well.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for joining, and thank you guys for coming in today.
Pleasure. Great to be here.
Yeah.
Bye.